Hey, it's Brian and I'm glad you made it. Now I'm an amateur photographer, videographer, and content creator. And I've owned this particular lens, the Sony 200-600G lens, now for close to 2 years. And with that, I wanted to share my experience with you today to help you understand more about this lens and whether or not it may be right for you. And with that, this lens is going to be a lot less of a review and me simply gushing over this lens and specifically the features that it offers. I absolutely love this lens. If you want the short video, there you go. Because in my opinion, it's those features that this lens offers that really puts this lens in a class all by itself. And this clip is really a great example. You know, capturing common songbirds in your backyard is fun, it's fairly easy to do, but when you finally come across something that's a bit more rare, like this American kestrel, and you've got incredible conditions. It's early in the morning, your day is starting off so fantastic, the sun is on your back, there's hardly any wind. You know, often you want to get as close as possible because we're talking about an animal that is very, very small and we're very far away. So having the reach of 600 millimeters on a G lens that's actually less expensive than the 100 to 400 G Master lens is insane. And it's this particular clip that's interesting because I mentioned you want to get up close and personal. And this video clip is not shot at 600 millimeters. You see, I filmed this particular clip in Super 35 for that 1.5 times crop, 900 millimeters. And this particular lens accepts this, a Sony teleconverter, and this is the 1.4 times teleconverter. So I'm at 900 millimeters because of the in-camera crop, and then the 1x4 teleconverter got me way past 1200 millimeters. Fantastic. You can't do that with Sigma or Tamron. They don't accept these teleconverters. And again, in the right conditions, like I had this particular morning, the image, well, what do you think? I think the image looks great. Now let's talk more about the zoom range. This is the zoom ring here on the very outside, and it's a very short throw, which makes it really easy to be more zoomed out, 200, 300 millimeters, and then just a little flick of your wrist and you're at 600 millimeters, making it easier to acquire a bird in flight and then jump right to 600 millimeters for a fantastic bird in flight shot, just like you're looking at right now. And the next feature that really is fantastic to have at this type of a focal distance is optical steady shot, OSS. And this lens delivers in spades. It's actually got 3 different modes, and I want to talk you through a few of them right now. The first one is, imagine if you want to have a somewhat locked off shot. Well, option or mode 1 allows you to do just that. It really minimizes any kind of camera jitters or handheld jitters that your footage may have, that your photo may have. And if you're doing photos, well, you can reduce your shutter speed, allowing you to reduce your ISO to create a cleaner, sharper image. Fantastic. And the next option I use most of the time is mode number 2, which is really for panning shots. This mode is really fantastic for birds in flights with that panning back and forth kind of motion and allows you to really capture crisp, clean shots easily. Now, because of the lens has this OSS, primarily I use this lens, I just have a camera strap. I've got these Peak Design little clips. They clip right into my camera strap. Makes it really easy to handhold this lens, which is heavier without question, but it's still very possible to handhold. Again, fantastic. And the last mode when it comes to steady shot is number 3, and it's really for erratic motions. I don't really use it that much at all. I'm in 1 or 2. Let's talk a little bit about autofocus. Holy smokes, this lens combined with modern Sony cameras A7 IV, A7S III. I'm filming on the A7S III right now. Sony A1, the new R5, incredible camera. The autofocus is insane. And again, I'm back on my deck with a phone. This photo was captured at 28 millimeters around that. And you can see just how far away these homes on the hill are from my deck in my backyard. And this dragonfly was captured with this lens. This is really the setup, the Sony A1 200 to 600. And I was able to track that dragonfly almost half a football field away, if not more. That's the kind of performance with, again, modern Sony full-frame cameras. Incredible. And this lens is sharp and detailed. It creates incredible images, just like this image of this poor bunny and hawk flying over my home. The lens is a 24-element optical design, including 5 ED for extra low dispersion glass elements and 1 spherical element to reduce chromatic aberration. And again, the lens produces really sharp and crisp images. Now, this particular lens does have a focus limiter switch that lets you choose between full range focusing, great for any object off in the distance, or limiting your focus to shorter distance subjects for faster autofocus performance. So if you've got a dragonfly or butterfly that's fairly close, the focus limiting switch is nice to have. The lens is both dust and moisture resistant, and it does come with a removable tripod mount or foot. Now, this is really fantastic. Anytime I'm shooting a time lapse of the moon or a photo of the moon, I always want to set the shot up on a tripod, and I like to, have the camera locked off for a slightly longer exposure. And having the tripod foot is necessary because of the weight of this particular lens. And the lens has several customizable focus hold buttons that can be assigned to any function such as autofocus, manual focus, or any real custom setting that you choose. And again, lastly, this is an internal zoom. So I'll take the lens cap off, I zoom in and out, and you really don't see the lens protruding. I love this much more than any type of a lens that would protrude when zooming in or out. And if you love cameras, photography, and videography, well, consider hitting the subscribe or like button. And there's one other thing I want to share with you. There is a feature in Sony cameras that is incredible when it comes to wildlife, sports, and this video on the screen covers that. Check out that video. I'll see you there. You dig?